Hello everyone, this is Rod and welcome to our lesson 4 for HTML5 Complete Beginners Web Development. And in the last lesson, we have learned about nesting elements from the parent element to the child element. So now, what I want to teach you will be to check on whether the document that we've created will be validated and complies with specifications that are necessary for it to be considered as an HTML5 compliant web document. Okay, so what I want you to do, guys, is to open your validator by going to your browser, then typing validator.nu, and I also want you to open a new tab here and drag your previous document that we've created, the index.html. As you can see, we don't have any title, we just have the paragraph that we have generated from Microsoft Word in our previous lessons. So now, I want you to open your web document, right click, go to open with, then click on notepad so that we can see here the structure here. So this is very useful, guys, the validator, because it will validate on whether your structure here that you've created is complying with the HTML5 specifications. So what you should do, you just highlight the document. You can do that by triple clicking, or let's say dragging and then pressing on Ctrl+C, or right clicking with a menu will come up, and just click on copy, then go to the drop down menu here, text field, then replace the HTML template that was created here, or the elements that were created automatically by the validator, then replace it with the document that we have. Ctrl+V or paste, right click. Then let's try to validate on whether it complies with the requirements of an HTML5 document. So as you can see here, the great thing about the validator, it provides you with an option here. It shows the line from where you need to work on, or it also provides the suggestions that you need to do so that you will be able to correct the mistakes that you have made. And it says your article lacks heading, consider using H2 to H6 elements to add identifying headings to all articles. Same with your section. So we have here the section element and its child element, which is the article element. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our H1 to H6 tags. So when we say H1 to H6, those are tags that are used to define HTML headings. Okay, so H1 signifies the most important heading. It can be the title of your document, and the rest will be H1 to H6, which will show you that it will provide you with a, let me just provide you here a visual representation of what I'm talking about here. This will be the main heading, and this can serve as the subheading with lesser importance. Okay, so same goes for H3, H4, H5, and H6. Don't forget the forward slash, guys. That will represent the closing tag or the ending tags. Okay, so let's save this, then go to our Internet Explorer, then try to refresh our document. As you can see there, our main heading, subheading going down to the least most important heading in our web document. Okay, so it's important that you again differentiate semantic structure of your HTML document through the use of HTML elements, and also identify aesthetic design, which is different from, you never used your HTML elements to apply aesthetic design as much as possible. Okay, so what do I mean? Let's say I have here the bold element that signifies, okay, slash B, the bold element signifies a bold text. Okay, when we talk about the I element or the B elements in HTML, it provides us a formatting output like bold or italic text. However, this is not really recommended anymore. As much as possible, you make use of the strong element and the emphasize element, especially if you're giving extra importance. Because if you use the bold and I element, it just is used for formatting output. And again, we don't do it in our HTML document. Instead, the formatting output or the layout or aesthetic design should be done in our cascading style sheet. Okay, so let's see here. If I click on that, you will see that the video element here, okay, or the video word is now in bold italic. It changed its formatting, but without any special representation of that specific word, not telling the browser that this is an important text. It's just the formatting is bold. Okay, so even as you can see here, if I try to validate this, okay, let me just remove this and put it into my article heading, Control X, Control V. If I try to Control X, Control S, and then save this and try to refresh, now that we have that, let me just Control A and put that here so that later on I won't need to, I have something that I want to show you guys. So what I want to do here, guys, is I'm going to validate this on whether it's now compliant with what the validator is telling us that we need to do. Okay, so we have here now the document validates according to the specified schemas. However, if for example we use H3, and I think that will be the same equivalent to what will be the formatting layout for this one. Okay, subheading, and let's change this into bold. Okay, instead of H3, let's use bold. Control save, Control A, Control C, Control save, go to our validator, then Control V, then validate. You will see that it tells us that the article needs a subheading or H2 to H6 elements. However, in the aesthetic design, it's almost the same as the one that we have here. Or let's say, it looks like a subheading or H3, right? Guys, H3 here, backslash H3. So that is what I mean, that you need to semantically use the elements that we have in our HTML5 web document. Okay? Do you understand, guys? So again, never use elements in HTML for formatting as much as possible. Okay? So Control save, Control A, Control C. Let's go to our validator here. Then try to Control V, Control validate. So again, guys, as you can see here, it validates because we now have our subheading that has the H3 element. But let's remove that. Control A, Control C, Control V, then validate, and our document validates. So thank you, guys. So wait for our next lesson. Hopefully you have learned something to check your documents when you're creating them. Make sure that you separate semantic structure with the use of the HTML elements and the HTML document that we have here. And for the cascading style sheets or CSS, for the formatting, never use elements like bold or italic or the B and the I element tags for formatting as much as possible, guys, especially if you want to emphasize an important text in your document. We don't use those anymore. We make use of other elements that represents properly defining that element. Like for example here, the paragraph element defines this element content as a paragraph. Okay, so thank you, guys. So please subscribe, wait for my other tutorials. See you next lesson. See you at the next lesson. Okay.